plosives test.
Plosive.
Put me on your penis, please.
Pussy said, "Put me on your penis, please."
This is a dirty children's book. When we're looking at composite charts or synastry charts or any kind of compatibility thing, it's telling you the strengths and pitfalls of your interaction with this other person. It just brings light to certain places that need to be, that need to be witnessed.
The Big Hormone Enneagram.
Hi, I'm John Lukovich, sexual self-pres 4-5 wing 458 trifix.
Hi, I'm David Gray, self-pres sexual 9-1 974 trifix.
What up? It's Emeka. I'm an 8-7 sexual self-pres with 854 fixes.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I am a self-pres social 3, wing 4, with a 369 trifix. If you like our podcast, guys, make sure you go like and subscribe on the Apple Podcast app. And if you really like us, you should definitely leave us a review.
Welcome back to Big Hormone Enneagram. We have our King of Wands, Emeka. We have our Queen of Cups, David. We have our Knight of Swords, myself. And we have our Prince of Pentacles, Nancy. And joining us is special guest, the Fool Joker herself.
Very
Joker
rude.
9.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I'm back. I'm a 9. That's untrustworthy.
The 9s are canceled. But yeah, we're doing astrology compatibility with this astrology queen. She's been doing Enneagram and astrology readings for people. So she does Enneagram 9 on Instagram and has been doing readings. She hasn't been doing that for a while, but she'll be doing more of this later. For plugs for the rest of us, I have my book out. David has his Trifix book. And is there anything else we need? Oh, Dark Arts Academy.
Dark Arts Academy. We are doing Nina Simone dropping this week. And also, we've been raising money for audio equipment. If you've been appreciating and enjoying the clarity of our voices, please donate towards that. So far we've raised $180 of our goal of $500. You can send money to our PayPal at bhepodcast@gmail.com or our Venmo, which is at EMEKV. Just leave a note that it's for the audio equipment. Also, another option, if you prefer donating through a website, you can donate through enneagrammer.com. Just make sure that you notify that it's for BHE audio equipment. So you have 3 options to send us some money. Send us $20-$30. It goes a long way to pay for all this stuff.
All right. So we've touched on astrology on this pod before, but Alexandra and I were one time just hanging out and talking, and she was doing all this synastry and composite chart stuff between her and I, but also seeing how some of us affect each other. So do you want to say a little bit about compatibility and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so there are 2 different types of compatibility somethings that I'm going to go over. Okay, so one is called a composite chart, and a composite chart is basically the blending of 2 people's energy as one energy. Okay, so it's not necessarily like how this person reacts with this person, it's how both of you merge together as one energy, and it's the personality that your interaction together takes on.
A chart of the relationship, basically.
Yes. And then the other kind is a synastry chart. And a synastry chart shows how person A activates person B. Okay, so they are different. A synastry chart, again, shows how person A activates person B and in what specific ways, with what planets, in what houses, areas, all that good stuff. So I'll be briefly going over both of them between all of you guys. So what y'all's blended energies as pairings are, and then how you activate each other.
I have a question. This is probably a dumb question. Does every person activate someone else, or are there people who just don't activate each other?
There will always be something that gets activated. It's for example, like I have 3 planets that activate John's 8th house, but I don't have any planets occupying or activating other specific houses. So when it comes to 2 people, your charts will overlap and activate something.
So that's
but it
why
doesn't
he
always-
sexually objectifies you?
That's exactly why he's sexually objectified.
David, is that why you activate me?
Yeah. Maybe the marriage might even be canceled, Nancy, based on
Yeah. All right. Okay. Who you guys want to do first? You want to do
David and Nancy.
the couple?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so
Marriage.
to start off, David and Nancy together. Nancy's sun in Scorpio and David's sun in Taurus.
That's a
Together,
biggie.
you guys have a Leo sun.
That
Okay,
makes
so
sense.
together, the way you are shining as a blended energy is in Leo. So it's all eyes on me. It's gassing each other up. It's it's adoring
Hammy.
each other. Yes, it's hamming each other. It's flirtatious. On top of that, together you guys have a North Node in Leo, which a North Node, if we remember from when OD was on, North Node is the direction that you're going in. You can think of it as like your integration point. So not only do you guys have like a blended hammy energy together, but that's the direction you're supposed to be in. So you're supposed to just be adoring each other.
right. And showboats
Nailed
or
it.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Spotlight.
You guys also have a Venus in Aquarius, which I think is really nice because it's helps you guys celebrate your differences, and it helps accent the differences you guys have despite also having, a decent amount of similarities.
Mm.
Okay, so one thing that I'm seeing is you guys both have Saturn together. So what this means is that where Saturn is in Nancy's chart is in the same place that it is in David's chart. So you guys both have Saturn in Pisces very close together. And the way that I'm interpreting this is that you guys have the same outlook on like stability and structure, and it is in a soft sign of Pisces. So there is this kind of like comfortable self-nurturing quality that feels very self-pres to me. So it makes sense that you guys would be 2 self-pres dominants with that in common, where you guys can really milk that out of each other.
Right.
Let me see. David, your sun is on Nancy's moon.
Oh, that feels good.
I figured I'd let you have that one.
Yeah. David, so David, your sun is on Nancy's moon. They're both in Taurus. They're both exactly at the same degree. So that's really strong. That actually is understanding how one person shines and how the other person feels. So there is a very natural understanding, and I feel like that shows up in your relationship based on how many sort of like phone calls you guys have just supporting one another.
Hours and hours of talking.
Yes. So next, let's look at Lilith. Lilith is... Lilith,
That's like
David
big
knows.
sex stuff, right?
Yeah, it's yummy sex stuff.
Satanic
Lilith-
Eve. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, the original story of Lilith is she was the first wife of Adam who was cast out of the garden because she refused to lay under him.
Want to be on top.
She was
gonna be-
hardcore
yeah, that's right.
sextician.
Yeah, top
Mhm.
corporate dom bitch.
Yeah.
In the chart, Lilith represents something similar. It represents, there's like 2 ways we could look at it. It represents your untamable feminine sexuality. Okay.
Together or one of us?
We're talking about yours. Oh, we'll get
In general. You're talking Lilith in general.
Yeah, Lilith in general, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's one, and then Lilith at the same time is also the part of you that you're kind of covering and keeping out of sight because in the past it has gotten you kicked out of the Garden of Eden, right? Okay, so there's that. Now back to synastry. David's moon is in Cancer, and it is exactly conjunct, which conjunct means that it's on the same degree. They're right next to each other. It's exactly conjunct Nancy's Lilith. So David has an emotional response to Nancy's wild sexual energy.
No way.
Big surprise.
I
Shocker.
never saw that
I'm
one
shocked.
coming.
Their
That is
salacious
so
relationship is represented in the stars here.
That'll work.
Gonna have to break this one to Brian.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Brian knows.
That's what
Yeah, he listens to every podcast. He knows.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he literally, it's his favorite. If you go to his Spotify, it's his top listened to podcast.
He's a masochist.
Yeah, he really is. He's a
Okay,
Stockholm.
and then there was just some like other nice stuff. Like the Sun Moon conjunction happens in the 11th house, which is the house of friendship. So it is you guys actually do have like a genuine connection with each other, but it is also this fun like flirtatious, like ego pumping relationship between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
David, you're a Sagittarius rising, and Nancy has her Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in Sagittarius. So there is a natural recognition that David's vibe is very similar to how Nancy moves. And it's like Jupiter represents your faith as well. So there's a resonance there too. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys want next?
Here's the next couple.
Let's do me and John.
John and Emeka. Okay, so composite. So again, blended energy. John and Emeka have a composite sun, or a composite sun that is in Sagittarius, moon in Sagittarius. So already that's like a blended energy of just being opinionated as fuck. Of just
Really?
like bringing the part. Absolutely.
And big broadcasters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of party, right?
Yep, and it's also
Yeah,
kind of party
party.
town.
Yeah.
Which fits every time Emeka and I are together.
Something goes down. Some wild shit happens.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. So it's not cool with just like sitting in the same spot. It wants more and more and more and more. So the two of you together always wanting like Emeka, you're always saying
Escalation.
epic.
Constant
So they're
escalation.
each other's drug, is what you're saying?
Well, we're both like, let's do more drugs.
Together.
I mean, that's
on
that's
each
literally
other.
that's literally what happened on Love 9/11. Like, you remember that? Like after the Brooklyn Bridge, you're like, take this.
Yeah. New York Zone was like, John, I recognized that I needed to take a little bit more control over making the party happen, which meant I needed to get John activated, because if he wasn't activated, it wasn't gonna. I was like, he needs to be on drugs.
John is, in fact, the life of the party.
Oh God. Okay, so yeah. So continuing on, Emeka, you have a ton of Scorpio, and John is a Scorpio rising, which means that all of your Scorpio planets are landing in John's first house. So that means it's activating his sense of identity. So your relationship is very affirming to just who John is, because a lot of how you carry yourself, a lot of how you emotionally project yourself out into the world, because you have your sun and moon in there, is aligned with how John presents himself. It's a really simple SYNASTRY signature, and simple in the sense that it's just like, I see you, you see me, cool, let's move on.
Right.
There's a non-fussiness to it, which I think is very clear with you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Here's something that's kind of interesting. Both John and Emeka have Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So this is like where we are. This represents where we're wounded, an energy that we had kind of damaged at some point and that we need to work in this lifetime to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so both John and Emeka have their Chiron in Gemini, which I have been trying to figure out what this means, because there's a lot of like sort of like pop astrology that says, oh, you're bad at communication. That's not how the way that I'm interpreting it is that the Gemini energy it's very open to everybody's perspective. It's open to hearing this piece and that piece to kind of put this big picture collection, this big picture together.
Yeah, these guys
actually-
are bad at that.
Yeah. A way that I see it actually is, I don't know that I'm understanding this correctly, but I see it as a wound to your consume function.
Yeah.
Can you say more about that? Like for a listener, like what would that mean?
Okay, so the Gemini energy, again, it's very open-minded, almost to a point of not being able to like pin their position somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, how did
Gemini's like, it's Mercury. It's really fast switching. It's moving around quickly, right?
Mhm,
and
and-
so from point to point and a lot of different points.
Right. Yeah, and it's got a lot of open inputs, and because it's a mutable sign too, it can really take on other people's impressions and
There you go.
and perspectives and feelings and experiences and stuff like that to try to put something, to try to have like a mental picture together.
So one of the ways that you said earlier, you spoke to it earlier, is how like locked down Emeka and I get.
Yeah.
That we're both like, fuck that shit, like lock it down and like don't trust being open.
Right. So so a wound in Gemini, Chiron in Gemini would be, a sort of locked, an impulse to not want to be open, right? John and Emeka specifically on this podcast talk about violation a lot. To me, that speaks to a Chiron in Gemini, where to protect from having this like open window that anybody could just get into, they keep it locked down.
Yeah.
Okay, so to add to this, Emeka, you also have a North Node in Gemini, and this part is pretty interesting because we bring David into this as well, but we'll get to that part later. Okay, so Emeka also has a North Node in Gemini, which means that the direction you're supposed to be taking in your life is towards that openness. Is towards...
Good luck, Emeka.
Good luck.
Which is kind of nice because John also has it, so your relationship could be bringing John along into that.
Gotcha.
Alexandra said, please take John with you.
Yes, that's right. And David, okay, we might as well just wrap David into this too. David also has a North Node in Gemini.
Like where you grow, like they're opposite signs on a chart, and so like your South Node is like where you come into life, like having already kind of got something under your belt. And so if your North Node is in Gemini, where you're going, means your South Node is in Sagittarius. So that's like kind of like a home base attitude. And then you need to learn to adopt or integrate the North Node attitude. And so both David and Emeka have a South Node in Sagittarius and a North Node in Gemini.
Yeah, correct. So yes, both David and Emeka have a North Node in Gemini. So, which means that they are both, this lifetime is about moving out of this place of like overcommitment to an opinion to a place of openness, to a place of considering the other perspective, to a place of like dual-natured thinking.
Good luck.
It's also, isn't it? I mean, since it's Gemini, it's like going towards communications of various kinds. Yeah.
Disgust in your voice says it all.
Yeah. There you go. Still a life goal. Speaking with people.
Yeah, I mean, we could get into this part now because David, Emeka, and John all have this specific degree of Gemini. Like it's in this place. David and Emeka have the North Node in Gemini, and this happens to be conjunct, which means in the same place as John's Chiron. So John is wounded in this place at the exact same place that David and Emeka are both headed into.
And Alexandra's fucking Sun and Venus are conjunct my Chiron in Gemini also. So, and Mercury, right? So I'm all kinds of fucked up by all the people around me.
Well, my sort of long-term opinion on this is that David and Emeka are heading in that direction. This is going to be very healing for John. And for David and Emeka, who need to know where to go, you can look to me, your shining example. Yeah, because that's where my sun is. So I'm just chilling out there.
Yeah. Home base.
Home base, yep. Okay, let's see. I just want to cover other little things. John's sun and moon are in Emeka's 7th house, which means that Emeka, John is activating your house of partnership. Now, this can mean like romantic or whatever, but also it's just your ability to work with another person.
Yeah.
Which I think is very clear between the two of you. You guys work really well together.
Right. And also, I mean, I've spoken to this on this pod before, just certain, John's a heart type, and not just because he's a heart type, but he has like a purity of heart that as an 8 that it can feel really inspiring to me. So I remember meeting John, like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. I don't know how long it's been, where I was just shocked that, a social blind could have and value romantic relationships to the degree he did. And, on one hand, I could say, oh, John's like really naive. But on the other hand, he does have like a purity of heart that inspires me in a way that no one else I've ever met has. So
thanks, Emeka. I really appreciate that.
That was really cute.
Emeka also, he's Cancer rising, and that's like my Lilith, right?
Yeah.
And is that a thing?
Actually, yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the things that's come up in Alexandra and I's relationship is like I have this Cancer Lilith, which means I'm like a big fucking soft bitch, and
Little soft boy.
yeah, and so like when it comes out, she'll there's a Cancer Lilith thing or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I mean maybe like there's a resonance there of Emeka seeing that part of me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely lining up for the two of you too. Because Emeka, you also right on John's Lilith, you have what is a point that is called a part of fortune.
Mm.
Now, part of fortune is kind of a weird thing because it's technically a mathematical calculation,
Mhm.
but it's supposed to represent where you find your greatest joy and your most success.
Hmm.
And it's in Cancer, which is a very
Oh.
nurturing, protective, like family-oriented sign.
Right.
And then John has this as well, but it's in his Lilith, which means that he's trying to keep it under wraps because it's gotten him in trouble in the past.
Mm.
So it's still, Lilith is still a very alive part of who a person is, but they're keeping it under wraps, and it becomes like a shadow kind of secret place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems right.
Okay, last thing on this. So John's North Node is in Aries, and it is right next to his Mars, which is the planet that represents how we take action, how we assert ourselves, how we get angry, how we fuck, all that good stuff. And okay, so these two placements are right on Emeka's midheaven. The easy way to say it is it represents your career, but that's a lame term. So I like to say that it represents how you are contributing to society.
Mm.
So what this means is that John is activating the area of life in Emeka's chart that is going to, I just lost how to say it.
Well, I mean, all right. It sounds like I'm activating what's gonna like help you move forward in your like work or contribution to other people or something like that.
Like vocation.
Vocation, yeah. Because like, I mean, even like the way I was like got you on the Shift Network thing,
Right,
could be
right,
an
right.
example or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we were always gonna do a pod, but it was you saying we should fucking do this.
Right.
That sort of kickstarted the whole thing.
Right, and Alexandra has that same Mars placement, or double Aries Mars. So something with Alexandra too is in the mix somehow, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, anyway, it's like somehow my Aries Mars does contribute to whatever the fuck Emeka is here to do.
Right.
Micah, how do you feel about that, or how do you
No,
see that play out?
Yeah, because I think in my mid-20s, I started really delving into, all these systems to try to, because I think after college, I was like, I'm going to go do this, this, and this. And then, of course, life slaps you with the reality check and it doesn't work. And I think I started searching within myself to sort of figure out, all right, let me figure out where all of my weirdness belongs, and what sort of path I'm supposed to embark on. And in trying to do so, meeting John and David, it sort of like helped me see myself and say, oh yeah, there is a weird path here of interesting dudes that are doing inner work, and so it gave me sort of the social mirroring in a sense of, okay, it's not just like this is something I'm interested in or just a hobby. This is actually my vocation. This is actually my path in life. So if I hadn't met both of y'all, I don't think I would have been able to see myself. So yeah.
That's so nice. Yeah. There is a lot of this particular 10th house midheaven placement activated between all of you guys. Like David's Mercury is also on your midheaven, Emeka. So what Mercury will do is he'll help you put this into words. Like he'll help you clear up your thinking. He may have been influential on your thought process when it comes to all of this.
Yeah.
And on the other end too, Emeka, you have the exact same influence on David.
Oh.
You have your Mercury and your Mars on his midheaven. So you're helping him put it into action and him clarify his thoughts and him push forward.
Right.
That makes sense.
We're a podcast designed in heaven.
Everybody feeds off of everyone.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, I'm seeing all of it. Emeka has the same influence, not with Mercury and Mars, but on Nancy. John has that same influence on Nancy. You guys are all pushing each other forward to contribute to society with what you're doing. That's what 10th house is.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, do something with Nancy.
Okay. Let's do Emeka and Nancy.
All
Okay.
right.
Because you guys had some interesting stuff. Seeing that you are so different personality wise, there actually is a pretty strong amount in common in the charts with a strong enough difference to explain why you guys are so different.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, in your composite chart, your blended energy, you guys have just a fuck ton of Scorpio. It's a Scorpio sun and Venus and Mercury and Mars.
A lot of fuck you energy. A lot of fuck you energy.
Yeah, a lot of fuck you energy. A lot of digging underneath the surface. What is it really? A lot of like excavating.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have an Aquarius moon.
Mm.
So that energy together, you guys need space. And you give each other space and you let each other be who you are individually.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where it comes in. You guys are both Cancer rising,
Oh.
and it is only 3 degrees apart. So that's very close. That is meaning you guys were almost born at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, we were.
Yeah, we're very close to each other.
And on top of that, yeah.
They're both Scorpio sun.
Yeah, and on top of that, you were almost born on the same day because your
Mhm.
suns are only 2 degrees apart.
Wow.
So seeing that, there should be a lot in common. Your rising signs are almost the same. Your sun signs are almost, or your positions, or sun signs are almost the same. However, Emeka has a Scorpio moon. So he has an emotional body that recognizes how he's walking out in the world. And
Like
it
it's in-
agrees with it.
Yeah.
Right? So Emeka's internal body and his external body are aligned. Where with
Me.
Nancy's
That does not happen.
whereas Nancy has a has a moon in Taurus, which is the opposite. So it's all the way on the other polar end of where Scorpio is. She's born on a full moon.
Love that for me.
Yeah. Yes. So this means that despite them both having the same sun, which is how you shine, how you present yourself, this is like where you are going to be at your most vital, right? And you both have it in the 5th house, so it's like extra spicy.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And the same rising sign, so you're moving through the world in the same way.
Hmm.
So the difference is coming in that Nancy has an emotional response to the opposite end, rather than being in this like destroy and fuck place that Emeka loves to be in.
Destroy and fuck.
Yeah, just
It's
fucking
2
destroy.
modes. Can I fuck it? Can I kill it?
Right. That is what's going to bring Emeka literally emotional nurturance. That's what his body
Yes.
needs. That's what his heart needs. It needs to be in this like
Fucking destroy.
it needs to be fucking and destroying.
Killing time is my favorite time.
Oh my god.
Whereas Nancy's emotional body and the way that she is emotionally nurturing herself is through Taurus. So it is through gathering security and through gathering stability and making sure that she's like together.
Stability queen.
Stability queen. So then where you guys do meet up, because you still have, again, almost the same exact sun in the same house, in the same sign. So you guys have a 5th house activation of each other, which means that is going to be a lot of the topics and a lot of the energy that you guys share with each other. 5th house, again, is the area of pleasure, the area of play. It's a lot of like frivolous sexuality.
Talking about sex and fucking a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. So your relationship is going to be one of Emeka's going to help Nancy come back to where she shines.
Mm.
And what
That's true.
comes to mind for me is, didn't you guys have a thing where Emeka was making Nancy do the hot guy collage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she's attracted to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Emeka's 5th house Scorpio moon trying to pull this bad bitch back in there.
Come back into fucking destroy mode.
I'm just a Scorpio 5th house daddy.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah. Y'all's synastry is really cool because you guys also have Emeka's Jupiter is right on Nancy's Mars, and they're both in the 5th house. So
Hmm.
Mars is the planet of action. Jupiter is the planet of like faith, but also luck and optimism. So when you
Mhm.
guys come together, it is going to be a lot of like play and good time and action. Like a collaboration between you two would probably be really good.
Yeah. Assertive types getting it done.
That would be fun.
Should do David and Emeka.
Fuck boys of the podcast.
Destined to get together.
I'm a reformed fuck boy. I'm no longer allowed.
I am still taking lessons in reformation.
I talked today about there was a thing about a story that said that in 10 years we're going to be fucking robots, and I said, I think it's okay to fuck robots. She's like, no, it's not okay to fuck robots. I was like, but it's not a
Absolutely
human.
okay.
I should totally get a pass for a robot. She's like, no robots for you. I was like, well,
Basically a sex doll. It's fine.
I'm not allowed to fuck any
You get a pass for a robot.
David, I am gathering women for you at my wedding, so just be prepared. You will not be alone.
Yeah, so I do not need a +1.
No, you don't.
You've got
need
a plus
one.
half dozen for me?
Yes. I have talked you up to a couple of women. I'm like, hey, this guy coming? Yeah.
All right. Well, much appreciated. My
And they all love your voice, so you're welcome.
Oh, they already do. They've already heard me.
When are you going to launch your daddy issues for David Gray erotica channel?
Daddy issues.
Hey, who is that? There's somebody on what is it? Reddit that's their screen name.
Yeah,
Is-
yeah.
Daddy issues for David G, and it's
Yeah.
an Enneagram and it's an Enneagram discussion whatever
You are not
thing.
allowed
So
to
I
hang
know.
out with that person. You are not allowed to hang out with that person.
Shout out
I
to
vetoed
Daddy
that
issues for David G.
Do not hang out with them.
I'm curious who it is.
No, you don't get to know.
Oh, okay.
You just would make bad decisions in that
So
scenario.
you're laying down the rules in this relationship now.
Yes,
Yeah.
David needs a pimp.
There you
Please
go.
keep him on lockdown.
I got it. I've always wanted to be a pimp. I would be a great pimp.
I think you would actually.
I would. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so David and Emeka's is hilarious to me. Okay, so we'll start. So your composite energy, you guys also have a Leo sun, so it's similar to David and Nancy, of course, because both David and Emeka, or Nancy
Oh,
and
that's
Emeka
true.
are Scorpios, so
Right.
that would make sense. So you guys also have the Leo sun, and basically the rest of your composite chart is Virgo, which to me actually makes sense because you guys do have, the two of you together do have a focus on like making sure that things stay organized and that they're staying functional and that there's like a no fuss kind of like specificity to how you go about things.
Well, also, when the two of them are together, they're like so fucking picky about like food and lighting and like
Oh my
if
God.
their coffee's coming and all that shit.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely a
Really
princess
are.
quality to the two of you. Oh my God,
That's
that's
true.
it. Leo and Virgo is your fucking 4-wing 3 fixes.
There you go. Yeah.
was
Picky
you guys-
Virgo stuff. And Virgo is an earth sign, so it's like about physical stuff
Mhm.
often.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you guys demanding coffee from me.
Yes,
Or,
from
like,
you. I was
passively
yelling from the other
resisted.
room. Yeah. And then I went into the kitchen and then you were handing me the coffee and I was like, why didn't you just hand me the coffee, bring the coffee to the room?
God, you're so needy.
I mean,
Princess.
that's these are basic
Yeah.
demands that
Yeah.
ought to be met,
Oh, God.
David.
You little bitch.
Oh my God. Okay, so the funniest thing to me in this is that Emeka, your moon is in David's 12th house. Now, the 12th house is like known for being a house where that's like very hard to describe. 12th house is hidden and it's nebulous and it's
It's like
confusing. Yep, it can be very spiritual. But normally, when somebody's planets are in the other person's 12th house, whoever is the planet person, in this case it's Emeka, has no fucking idea what's going on in the 12th house.
So this is the
being
huh,
confused
this
as
is
shit
the
by
huh.
David.
That would be accurate.
Huh?
Why the fuck are you doing this again?
Yeah.
Constantly confused by his
It will
choices.
it will remain a mystery.
And usually, whoever the 12th house person is, like John and I have this synastry also, where John's sun and moon are in my 12th house. Usually, whoever the 12th house person is. So, David, it's 2 hexad boys being confused by 2 nines.
There you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, because 12th house is also ruled by Pisces, that
Yes.
naturally, and that's really super 90. That's just that vague, watery world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a sign that is like the moon that needs, the moon's focus is to self-regulate and to, to take care of themselves. So when the moon or the sun that needs to just see what's going on are placed in the 12th house that is not giving any ounce of clarity,
There you go.
it's very
That's it.
uncomfortable for them, or it can be.
Bullseye.
Meanwhile, the 12th house person, David, this would be you and I, we're confused as to why they're so confused.
Yeah. Or why does it matter?
Yeah, it's just chill out, guys.
Yeah.
Being confused by attachment types is just what has
There you
driven
go.
so much of this podcast.
Because they're like, what does that mean?
What's funny too about this is just specific to David. David, you have a Mars-Uranus conjunction. So your Mars, which is how you take action, and your Uranus, which is your eccentricity, it's like your sudden change. It's your individuality work the same way.
Right.
And one of the hallmark behaviors of Uranus is that it's unpredictable. So the way you basically, it's like nobody ever knows what the fuck you're going to do next.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Wow.
yeah, no, I've never felt that way about David.
Surprise.
The trickster.
Let's see. There is more. Oh yeah, I mentioned that already. That David is on Emeka's midheaven, so there's a lot of like career activation between the both of you mutually. Oh, this is nice. David Jupiter, which is optimism and faith and expansion and luck, is right on Emeka's Chiron, which again, like we talked about earlier, is that wounded place. Now, both Jupiter and Venus are both considered benefic planets, so their effects are only ever positive.
Right.
So the way that would play out long term, and somebody else has this, some other pairing has this synastry piece too. The way that this pairs out is what is the part of Emeka that needs to be healed, that needs attention, that needs like love poured into it. David has a lot of optimism about. David has a lot of faith that, this will be good. We'll be fine.
Right. An abundance of faith. An overabundance of faith, if you could say.
David, what do you say about that?
I think I'm being accused of being irrational,
Making
and
bad decisions.
illogical for some reason, and that
For some
take great
reason.
offense. Yeah, I take great offense to
Nobody knows why, really.
that. Yeah.
Well, Emeka's no easy man to please.
Who, me?
Virgo, Mars, and Virgo,
Difficult to
Venus.
please?
Yeah, Virgo is not an easy sign to please.
So what does it mean that Emeka's Mars and Venus are in your moon, in the 8th house?
Okay, so Emeka's Mars and Venus, is right on my moon. Okay, so this was cool. Yeah, I wasn't going to bring myself into it, but I guess we're going to doing it.
Yeah,
So
we're
this
bringing
is-
the social 9 into it. Yes, we are.
We're bringing the
It's
nebulous
actually
person.
all about you.
So this, oh God. So this I thought was very cool. So I have a Virgo moon. Emeka has a Virgo Mars. They are at the same degree. So how I have interpreted this is that the things that I am feeling need to happen, the things that I need for my own emotional regulation, Emeka's already out there doing.
Hey.
And this absolutely has lined up historically, where there's been a lot of drama, and there have been a lot of things where I, as a 9, I'm feeling, I feel this sort of like call to action that needs to happen. But then Emeka's Mars is there, so he's the one actually out there chopping heads with the fury that I feel but can't take action on.
Yeah, a lot of times I do feel responsible to embody the anger that others around me don't feel like they can express.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's been like 10 for 10 at this point. almost all of your actions, I'm like, fuck yeah, thank you. That needed to be done.
Yeah.
Have
David
me
and
Nancy
John.
and me and David haven't been done, right?
Yeah.
All right, John and Nancy, an Aquarius sun and a Scorpio sun. Together, your composite is a Sagittarius sun. So you guys also
yeah.
have that party town, let's go dance, let's do,
That's
you know,
true.
let's raise the fucking roof.
Hmm.
DJ energy between the two of you.
Yeah, anytime we get together, it's a fucking party.
And what's sweet and what not counteracts, but what complements it is that you guys have a Pisces moon. So there is a very soft quality that you guys share together. There is like a genuine spiritual care that you have for each other.
Mhm.
And then even going down the line, there's just more Sagittarius. So you guys really fucking like to party and you genuinely care about each other. As far as activation goes, Nancy, because you have so much Scorpio, again, it's similar to his relationship with Emeka, that a lot of who you are validates who he is. Oh yeah, you guys both have Lilith in Cancer. We kind of addressed this earlier, is that Lilith is that sort of hidden but wild but very present side to ourselves. Both John and Nancy have Lilith in Cancer, which is a very soft, squishy, romantic, like just a little soft shell crab inside of both of you. So, yeah, I think because you guys both have that is very reaffirming and reassuring to both of you. You know, it like gives permission for the other persons to come out. It is a kind of green light for that energy to come out.
So another thing you said that was interesting was that her Jupiter is conjunct my Saturn, and my Saturn is conjunct her Jupiter.
Oh, right. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So Saturn is considered a malefic planet. So usually when it is when it's like communicating with another planet, it's got some hard lesson for it. And as we mentioned earlier, Jupiter is a benefic planet, so it's only giving good things. Nancy's Jupiter is on John's Saturn and vice versa, which is kind of an interesting communication of like optimism meets pessimism. There's a balance there on both of those degrees. So where John's going to be super, negative, everything sucks, the world is horrible, everything needs to burn down, Nancy can bring some soothing to that. So she can bring some hope to that. And on the other end, when Nancy feels like her life is crumbling, John can bring some soothing and hope to that as well. That was my positive outlook right there.
Yeah. And also, I have my Mars and North Node in your 10th house, which is the career one, right? So I'm helping your career, Nancy.
Just your very existence is helping my career.
Yeah, so
Awesome,
your this
awesome.
This podcast is your new career now that you've don't have a job.
So any career questions, I should just call you and be like, John, should I do this?
Yeah, and I'll just be like, do the Enneagram, do the podcast.
Only the Enneagram, nothing else.
Yeah,
No other
and
interests.
you all your eggs in this basket now, baby.
You might end up homeless, but you will be happy.
Yeah, you will be happy, and
Are we
my
sure about
Mars
that?
in action is like supposed to tell you to do this, so I can't help it.
Oh, okay.
You just have to reduce the standard of living by several notches, and then you will be happy.
Okay. I'll look into that.
There's also John's moon is conjunct Nancy's part of fortune. So the part of fortune we talked about earlier, this is like this is where we're going to find our most joy, our highest joy, our most success, our prosperity, our luck, all of that. And Nancy, yours is in Capricorn. So it is within Capricorn energy, within like building and, being ambitious and just creating your tomorrow that is going to be most fulfilling for you. And John, with his moon there, means that he naturally sees that and understands it. So John's effect on you and your effect on him are both very affirming to who the other person is, but also very pushing forward to where you guys both need to be going.
Wasn't there something too about all three of us fellas that is something about like very validating to Nancy's Lilith or something?
Oh, yeah.
There was something about like that we all
makes
are very accepting of Nancy's freak side or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
That's certainly true.
That's definitely true. God, David.
That's certainly true of David.
Yeah.
That was not
Nancy's-
creepy at all. That was just very, very wholesome.
Daddy issues with David P.
It's actually my backup Reddit. It's fine.
Yeah, Nancy's Lilith is recognized by a different part of all three of your charts. And with Nancy
Aw.
specifically being like a sexual blind and a Bermuda type, to have that recognized by all three of you is very empowering. And it is very like, yeah, I'm not going to not be accepted here. You know, she's found acceptance with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Let your freak flag fly.
Dom, corporate, burning, whatever. Do whatever you want. They'll love it.
Yeah. They'll just be in the background like, yeah.
And then me and David.
Star-crossed
Okay.
lovers.
Star-crossed lovers. Yeah, even before that, I was like writing a few things just based on all four of you guys. All four of you guys have fixed suns. John is an Aquarius, Nancy and Emeka are both Scorpios, and David is a Taurus. Yes. So a fixed sign is known as they're the builders. They're just trying to carry you through the season. They're not trying to change anything. They're called fixed because they're in a fixed position. They're not movable, which I think is a reputation that precedes this podcast.
It does?
You don't say.
Yes, having a reputation for being stubborn know-it-alls. And what's beautiful about that is that you guys have your sun there, which means that this is where you are at your most vital and at your most alive and at your most, like, at your strongest. So I thought that was kind of cool.
So, suck it, haters. This is what we
are
should be
how we're
doing.
gonna be.
This is what we do
Yeah.
best.
And we are fixated on it.
And we're never going to change.
That's right. Yeah. And this is just like something. I'm including myself in this as well. You guys are all night charts. You guys are all born
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
under the night sky,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. I haven't looked into that too much, but I do kind of feel an energetic difference between a night person and a day person.
This is a night podcast.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
definitely a night podcast.
Me and David, and then Alexandra has notes on herself and everybody too. Just brief ones from our little.
Yeah,
our little
just
night.
brief. She wouldn't
Just
want to talk
briefs.
about herself for
Yeah,
too
we won't want
long.
to put too much of herself in here, little nine.
Okay, that's enough from John.
Oh, I'm just a little
But
nine.
I can hear you.
Just soften.
Oh, do I have my pillows and my blanket?
I'm under a blanket right now.
Yeah, we're broadcasting from our bed.
Yeah. All right. So, John and David. So, for starters, your composite, you guys are a Pisces together, which I think is so nice and I think very fitting. The two of you have a sort of mystical, magical, psychic, spiritual energy when the two of you come together.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I think is very fitting. And then on top of that, you have Aries moon, which I think also tracks as your emotional bodies are just fucking ready to fight in the comment section at any
Yeah.
given moment.
Tier 1 Delta Force comment operators.
Yep. Some warrior, God of War Aries going on.
Warrior cast.
Warrior
Right.
cast, that's right.
David, you're warrior cast on the Michael teaching thing, right?
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Double.
Yep.
Yeah.
Double.
Double warrior cast.
Double. David is responsible for telling me I'm a 9, and then I just blindly said yes.
No one has been more responsible for the biggest shitstorms that we collectively have been involved in. Single-handedly generated more drama than anybody. All of us combined, probably.
Thank you very much.
He's here all week, folks. He's here all week.
Our North Node together is in Taurus. So that means we got to get practical about all our dumb shit.
Oh, yeah, and a Gemini Mars, so you are motivated by the information, by the collection of information, the distribution of it.
Mhm.
Again, that's why you're out in the comments section fighting off every bitch. Okay, so composite-wise, John's sun and moon are in David's second house. So there is an activation of the second house by John to David, which I see as the need to, as like the push to actualize David, yourself, into something tangible.
Mhm.
So I see it as
Like introing your Trifix book.
Yes. Yes, and the push to put who you are
Mhm.
out there into public view.
Very
Let's
nice.
see. Yeah, John's Mars is on David's Mercury, which again, Mars is very pushy. John is very pushy. He's pushing David to get speaking, to share his ideas, to get him out there.
Mhm. Yep.
You know, and if I know the history, David, you were already doing that.
What was happening?
Oh, I
So you're
said,
already sharing your ideas.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
in came a Hexad boy to push it farther.
Like, get on a fucking podcast.
There you go.
So his moon is in my 8th house.
Yep. David's moon is in John's 8th house. And John's 8th house is especially potent for him, as he has his like wounded planet and his Lilith in there. So, and you guys know John. There's there's some stuff there.
Well, it's also like, I mean, that means like together it's sort of depth stuff
Mhm.
too with that
Mhm.
8th house. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of transformation. And David, you having your moon here, I think is very validating for John, because you do understand the pain that he's going through, or the pain that he feels, and the fears, and his, all of his secrets. Okay, continuing on with John and David. David has a bunch of planets in John's 7th house. So similar, I can't remember at this point who else it was, but there is another, John and Emeka have another 7th house activation.
Mm.
So
that's
again,
partnerships.
Yes, which is very clear, as you guys have been working together for a while. But yes, especially with Jupiter being in the 7th house also, there is like a fortuitous energy between you guys. David, your Chiron is on John's Jupiter. So again, Jupiter only brings good. So this is John telling you he needs more, telling you he wants more. He's giving you faith, and he's giving you optimism, and he's giving you a certain direction for how to heal your specific Chiron, which is in Pisces, I believe.
I think so, yeah. In my 2nd house.
Oh, yep, there it is. But then the last one, and this is what ties the 3 men on the podcast together, is that North Node placement in Gemini. David and Emeka are going to Gemini. They're integrating Gemini into this lifetime to help them be more well-rounded, to help them be at their best, basically. And it happens to be in the direction where a lot of John's pain comes from. And so you guys are all in it together, is how I see it. You're all in this together. None of you know that reference?
Nope.
I do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know that reference. That's attachment, babies.
And then what about you? Go to your thing.
Yeah, talk about yourself for a bit.
Gotta pull my 9 in here.
All right. Well, these
Talk
are
about
quick. They
yourself
really are
just
quick.
in relation to yourself. Nobody
Yeah.
else. Solo.
All right. Let's see. All right. So these are, like I said, these are just quick. David, you and I have a Leo moon together, which is just the best. As it seems that our relationship is basically about being narcissistic 9s.
Perfect.
Telling the world how we're better than everybody, why 9s are the best, why everybody
Being
needs
on
to listen
stage.
to 9s.
Our 9s aren't narcissistic. 9s are never narcissistic.
At all.
No.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned for more on that topic.
Tune in next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Heads will roll.
Heads will roll. And then, Emeka, you and I are a Virgo sun with a Cancer Mars. And the way that I see this play out, there is more, but the way that I see this play out is we have a very picky, analytical, scrutinizing quality.
Absolutely.
With a Cancer Mars motivation. And so the motivation of a Cancer Mars is to protect the family.
Yes. Very much so.
Yes. Ruthless bitches. You and I are.
True. That is
Yes.
a definite
Everybody back
overlap
off.
with you two.
They will
More on
fight
that
you.
next week.
Cancer Mars, Virgo Sun. I just thought that was beautiful. And then Nancy, we just have a ton of Virgo. We're a Virgo Sun, Virgo Mercury, Virgo Venus. We have an Aries rising, and we have a Cancer Moon. So there is a a sort of mushy, there's sort of mushy quality as far as Cancer goes. I think with us both being triple attachment too, there is a lot of needing to be reassuring and validating to each other as far as Cancer moon goes. And then let's see. Oh yeah, Nancy, you are all up in my 10th house and my 9th house. Like more so than any of the other guys are. So the way that I'm reading this is that you're the one that activates you're the one that's going to get me to keep going with my accounts and with my astrology stuff and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
I need your fucking help, Nancy.
On it.
All hands on deck for 9.
The next zone is just going to be all about keeping you on track.
I need the 3's help, please.
I got it.
Do you guys have anything else?
No, I mean, I think that was really great. Like that was
great. Yeah.
all really accurate.
Yeah.
And like very easily demonstrated, not just between our comments, but I mean, I think all those dynamics played out on the pod.
And I don't think like the listeners of this podcast really need to be reminded of this, but I do think that there are people that, like my mom, for example, thinks astrology is like telling you what you are already and it takes away your free will and all that stuff. Like, I think a way that astrology can help is it just brings light to certain places that need to be, that need to be witnessed. Sometimes it is just like a mirror that gives you an extra boost of strength for a direction that you need to be going in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something. I used to be an astrology skeptic until my best friend got really deep into it, and
You mean
could see
John's
somewhere-
best friend?
yeah, John's best friend.
John's best friend.
Got really deep into it, and here, some nuanced operator of the system who could really shed light to things that I didn't take seriously before. And we explore a lot of different systems on this pod, and each one has a different layer to offer in terms of exploring one's psyche and all these psychological layers that you can excavate. And astrology is just a very useful, very different layer that confirms and also sheds light on things maybe we didn't pick up from other systems. So I mean, there's just a lot to learn regardless of what the system is. It has a lot to add.
Yeah, I think it shows us like where we can lean on each other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, one thing that's been cool is as Alexandra's gotten deeper into astrology, like she's, for a while she was getting a lot of people's charts and knew their types or could find out their types. And we've seen different like patterns and relationships between type and astrology. And it seems like they aren't covering the same thing, but they kind of complement each other. And it seems like, your astrology chart is like kind of telling you what your soul's developmental path is. And then your ability to be present with your Enneagram pattern is kind of like what makes that development happen or not. It's like what gets in the way of it, or what, if you're playing out your bullshit, you're going to basically get fucked by your chart, as different transits and different things happen. And so to be able to be aware of your type and all the bullshit and pitfalls lets you be more available for whatever whatever you call it, like whatever your essence is supposed to learn or experience or transmit or go through, whatever energies it's supposed to embody. Being able to be present using your Enneagram type is like how you, in a sense, become a tool for the stars or a tool for the universe or in service of something higher. So there's a lot of cool shit with Gurdjieff and, different worlds and, what like different levels of a human being, from the body to the essence and to something higher. And astrology does seem to have, it's not saying that Gurdjieff taught about astrology or anything, but there is some acknowledgement in even the Gurdjieff work about the way celestial forces influence our essence and what makes us able to serve sort of the cosmic functioning versus what gets in the way and makes us what Gurdjieff called food for the moon.
Yeah, I guess the last thing I'll say is that as far as we were mostly doing compatibility charts, and similar to what John was saying about the sort of like non-static nature of a person's individual chart, when we're looking at composite charts or synastry charts or any kind of compatibility thing, it's telling you the strengths and pitfalls of your interaction with this other person. And I guess so what I'm saying, where I'm going with that is that there isn't a chart that's going to say, yeah, everything's going to be seamless in this, and there isn't a chart that says this is going to be a disaster between you two. I'm still practicing compatibility charts, but it has been fun to look into. Anyway, I'm still taking readings. I'm still accepting people's charts. You can find me over on Angry Enneagram 9 on Instagram, or those that have me on Facebook, or even just my personal Instagram account. You guys can reach out to me on that. Turnaround is a little slow, but I'm working on it. I love astrology. I think that it's been able to provide a lot of mirroring in places where people have needed it, really uncover strengths that people didn't know they had, and yeah, give a green light to just start behaving in a way that really makes sense for you, rather than, especially for attachment types, rather than trying to live a way that isn't going to bring you any satisfaction or joy or anything good.
Yeah, that's what I've seen with Alexandra's readings for people. So, obviously, most of her readings have been toward attachment types, and it just provided like really good, powerful, and strong mirroring for what is of that particular person's strength and inner nature and capacity, and things they need to face to actualize those capacities, and what kind of spells need to be broken. I mean, that's for hexad types too, but especially her being an attachment type, she can speak incredibly well to the attachment struggle in a way that sometimes falls flat for the hexad folks.
Also, a chart's going to have like latent individuating, material that for attachment types. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like, for example, my chart, my North Node is in Capricorn. I do not see myself as having Capricorn energy. But the
Right.
way the North Node works is that the North Node is how you're going to take care of your emotional body. It's how you're going to take care of the vessel that's going to carry out your life's purpose. And so while I still don't identify as having any Capricorn qualities, I do notice that when I am embodying Capricorn qualities, I'm much happier with myself. I'm much more capable of handling, day-to-day things, and the power really does go back into my own hands. So that's kind of cool. I think with to just mirror what David said, or to echo what David said, I do think that it is just an image of everyone's potential, and sometimes you really need that shown to you first before you even know it's possible.
Yeah.
Thank you, my love.
All right, man.
Talk to you.
Bye.
Thanks, Alexandra. Okay. Okay, later.
Bye.
I need you to come with me. Don't be scared, girl, it's easy. We gon' rock to the beat, just follow my feet and we can move freely. Cause I'm new to this life, and baby, I've been up all night. And I need you to come take this ride with me.
And from the sun to the moon, we'll never give up, we gon' move. Now what I want you to do is light everything up in the room. We gon' jump to the groove like
We can dance all day and all night. This is a moment, baby.
Now get off your phone and get on that floor. Get your back up off the wall, keep it going till the morning. I said it already, hit the stance, y'all ready, do your dance, rock steady. Know the beat ain't top heavy, let the low wind hit you.